Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey.
Elizabeth,
hey.
Wow, you're coming in hot, man.
Hey.
It's so glad to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Well, while you got that big smile on your face, I got a question for you. Do you know what's ridiculous?
Yes, sir. I do.
Really?
I asked my 6-year-old nephew the other day, what's a labubu?
Ah, this must have been interesting.
Because I hear it, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he, made a disgusted face because he doesn't like labubu.
Oh, he's over it.
It's sort of like when I was his age and like Cabbage Patch Kids were the thing, and I was disgusted by them, because I was too cool for that, basically.
You're like, Cabbage Patch.
I was so cool. So I asked him, what's a labubu?
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to explain it to me, and then we looked up a picture, and I said, all right, I get it. It's like, Monchichi.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's what I see is Monchichi.
And so, but I then Rose on Instagram, aka the Envious Moon.
Mm-hmm.
She sent us a thing where people believe that labubu is modeled on Pazuzu.
What's a Pazuzu?
Pazuzu is a ancient Mesopotamian mythological figure that is it's a demonic god.
Oh.
And so he's represented by like a dog face with huge bulging eyes, a scaly body, a snake-headed penis, the talons of a bird, and wings. And it's like an evil underworld demon.
Okay.
And somehow that translates to labubu.
All right.
And so there are people who are saying they're dork-sided, they're gorgiles, they're psychic. Don't get near them.
Sure.
They're bad, evil.
I'm already staying
away. The
away.
labubus.
Yeah.
Other people are trying to exorcise them, and so they're
real?
They're trying to use these rituals to cleanse the Pazuzu out of the labubu.
All right.
And I don't like any of it.
I'm just glad this is not a mashup that you're like sliding in at the end.
No, well, it's a mashup of labubus and the devil.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's ridiculous.
That is mad ridiculous.
Labubu Pazuzu.
Exercising the labubus.
And the labubu folks are like, look, we were not inspired by Pazuzu.
Of course they'd say that.
You can't tell people nothing. They're saying, no, of course, it's the devil.
Greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's dork-sided,
right?
as they say. Sly-kicks, gorgiles.
Wow.
Yeah. Dark-sided stuff.
It's like you opened up a door and just started saying nonsense words at me.
Well, it's like when you see, like you're driving in San Francisco and you see all these billboards and it's
for
babble.
AI companies.
It's gibberish of like, they make these, what are supposed to be probably clever wordplay about various coding platforms or whatever. And the business names, they don't like vowels. They usually kick the vowels out.
Always get rid of the vowels.
And so if I saw a billboard that said Labubu is now free from Pazuzu, I'd be like, that's got to be an app. Yeah, it's a database system. So that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I know. Thank you.
On that note, I got something that's ridiculous for you.
I'd like that, please.
Logistics.
That's not ridiculous, Zaron.
I knew you would say that because you are, Elizabeth, as I would tell people, a queen of logistics.
I love logistics.
That's not the ridiculous part.
Okay.
But oftentimes, logistics can be the difference between success and failure, as you well know.
That is so true.
Especially when it comes to crime.
Oh, yeah.
We say this all the time.
Yes.
And especially if you're going to do the crime, at least do the research for how you'll get away with it.
Yes. It's part of the planning.
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. Elizabeth.
Labubu Pazuzu.
Now, you've mentioned casually to me many times before that you're a woman who from time to time has suffered through bouts of anxiety.
Yes, time to time, honey.
No, but as far as I would describe it, like you once bravely picked up sticks and moved to Scotland, a place where you knew no one and you started a whole new life for yourself there.
That's true. I certainly did.
Was that an anxious time for you, or did the excitement of all that newness and fresh potential buoy you?
Though, I think my anxiety is generalized anxiety of just about everything that I encounter.
To be anxious wherever you are.
But those kind of choices, I, have had a blessing in my life to be raised in part by my grandmother, who looked at everything as an opportunity, and you have to take a big risk every now and then. And so it was. I never thought I'd leave California. It was huge. It was a huge thing, and it felt like stepping off a cliff. And when I did it, then I realized it was just a curb. It wasn't a cliff. And so I stepped off, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. And I'm somewhere cool, and it was a great life lesson.
Nice.
And so I don't have anxiety about big life change stuff, oddly enough. I get anxious over the little things.
Like, will I find parking?
Oh, God. Yeah. If I'm invited somewhere, especially if it's in like San Francisco.
Sure. You plan your parking.
I look and I find like, where's the parking garage? Because I know I'm not going to get street parking.
Yeah, you've asked me questions about that. I'm like, I don't know. When you get there, you'll figure it out. You're like, no. I need to know at least 3 locations I can find public parking, private parking, and then maybe on-street parking that's readily available. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, I have to know.
Luckily, you have good parking karma, so it kind of works out for you.
I do.
I don't know why you worry about it.
Knock on wood.
Well, today, I would like to tell you a story of a guy who wanted to find a new him, and instead, he lost it all.
Oh.
Yeah. Elizabeth, meet Ryan Borgwardt. He
Hello,
was
Ryan.
a 45-year-old cabinet maker, a married family man who lived in a small town in Wisconsin. Now, I assume, like me, you're not familiar with Watertown, Wisconsin, or Waterton.
I have never heard of it, but I hear it's beautiful.
Well, it's located halfway between Milwaukee and Madison, Wisconsin. The town is home to roughly 23,000 people.
Sure.
Now, it was named Watertown because it's located in a horseshoe bend of the Rock River, and for the use of the water of the river to power industry and commerce, like originally the Rock River powered sawmills, which led to an early lumber industry and thus furniture makers, like the star of our story, Ryan Borgwardt.
Right.
Now, as I said, Ryan was a married family man, a father to 3 children, but please note that I didn't say he was a happily married man, because if you asked him, he was not that. There were troubles in his marriage. That's why he would step out from time to time, but not like you might be thinking, more to spend time on his own. For instance, he was a fan of driving out to the lake and going fishing by himself on his kayak.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that all couples should be comfortable having their own time and space occasionally.
I think that I would also advocate for that.
Yeah.
Now, this was his key escape, the kayak, the fishing, going out on the lake. And one day, August 11th...
unless he was there with like a bodacious babe.
No, she wouldn't fit on the kayak.
It was a one hitter.
Exactly. They only seated 2 cheeks.
Okay, I'll allow it then.
Now, one day, August 11, 2024, to be exact, he decided to go on one of his fishing trips alone. And that night, the aurora borealis was popping off, and he felt like going out to the lake and just do some fishing with the northern lights washing over him high above.
Yeah. And you said he had kids?
3 of them.
Well,
like 3 teenage kids.
Oh, you totally should have taken the kids.
It depends if they like fishing or not.
You're going to make them like fishing.
So he's out there, getting ready to go out to the lake. And apparently he didn't tell his wife, Emily, his plans, or perhaps she was busy with their teenage kids when he left, or perhaps she wasn't yet home from work. I don't know the specifics, but what I do know, Elizabeth, is he texted her at 10:36 p.m. that he decided to drive 50 miles out to Green Lake to do some fishing on his kayak and to check the northern lights. He wrote that, quote, "I may have snuck out on a lake." Right? And his wife, Emily, texted back, "That would have been nice to know. I was beginning to wonder why you weren't home."
Okay, I'm with her.
Now, he texted her back and apologized for his absence, and her response was somewhat terse. Emily wrote back, "Nothing new. I should be used to it by now. So many nights I have no idea where you are when it's late."
Oh.
Now, to that text, he responded that he was aware of his lack of straightforward communication and that he would work on it in the future. Seemingly to calm down their terse text exchange, he wrote to his wife that the northern lights were dancing above him and looked incredible, the sky all awash with a lively shade of pink, and then he texted, "I love you, good night." Now, that text seemed to thaw the cold between them somewhat, because Emily texted back that she loved him too, and she asked him to be safe on the lake, and she said she'd see him when he got home.
Okay.
Ryan texted his wife back, reassuring her, "I'll be heading back to shore soon." Now, that last text was sent at 10:49 p.m.
Okay.
The next morning, his wife woke up early and noticed her husband had not yet come home. She texted him at 5:12 a.m., and Emily asked her husband, "Where are you?" And then when he didn't respond, she sent a follow-up text. It was just one word, "Babe." Now, the text was also unanswered. You see, Elizabeth, her husband had officially gone missing.
Oh, no.
Of course, his wife went to the police. Look what she's going to do.
Sure.
So the local sheriff's deputies, they launched this search for the missing cabinet maker. At first, they found nothing. But then, out at the lake, deputies discovered Ryan Borgwardt's van and trailer. They were parked near a boat launch. The next clue that the deputies found was, they didn't discover. Instead, it was a local fisherman who found it. He spotted a fishing rod. It was found at the bottom of the lake.
How did he see a fishing rod?
It was pretty clear waters.
Oh, all right.
So it was it was with his tackle box. Inside his tackle box was his wallet. His driver's license was inside, which is how the authorities knew it was his.
Yeah.
Well, also inside the tackle box were the keys to his van. So it was like, well, he obviously didn't leave.
Yeah.
So the deputies intensified their search of the lake, and they discovered his overturned kayak. Still attached to the kayak was a life jacket. At that part of the lake where the kayak was, the water was at least 200 feet deep, Elizabeth, or 60 meters deep for our overseas and Canadian listeners.
Yeah.
Now, at one point, the deputies had a working theory of what had happened. Something had gone down that caused Ryan Borgwardt to flip his kayak while he wasn't wearing his life jacket. Mm-hmm. Perhaps he might have slipped out of his life jacket. They weren't exactly sure, but likely he went into the water. But there was no body located anywhere near the overturned kayak, nor was there a body near the fishing rod and tackle box down like at the bottom. It wasn't like he got trapped under a rock or something. No,
Sure.
Nothing. That meant it's time to bring in the divers.
Well, it's, I'm going to guess the most obvious thing is that he ran into a night swimming Bigfoot.
There you go. They should have worked on that theory.
The REM classic Night Swimming.
Yes.
As it flopped around in the water.
Yes.
And then then they took Ryan and they live in a cave together.
And they sing Little Mermaid songs.
And he says, babe.
So out come the divers to check on your Bigfoot theory.
Yeah.
And the team of divers, they plumbed the depths of the lake. They turned up zilch. Nada. Not a damn thing. Mm-hmm. 50 days passed of these divers, who were aided, by the way, by a volunteer organization, and they searched the span of the 7,600-acre lake. It's a big lake.
It's huge.
The deputies flew drones to check the surrounding areas of the woods, that run down to the lake, and they have these volunteers who continue to search the depths of the lake. Volunteer divers.
Yeah.
The volunteer organization of divers was called Bruce's Legacy. It was named for a local firefighter, Bruce Cormican, who had drowned in the area back in 1995, and his brother Keith ran the organization in his brother's honor.
Yeah.
And that volunteer organization, it would often assist local law enforcement with dives to find missing persons, drowning victims, so forth. They donate their time for those 50 days, and they use, I'm talking the latest sonar technology to assist their search.
Well, and that diving, that's dangerous too. They're putting themselves at risk.
Completely.
Yeah.
And even with all the sonar data and the drones, still, they find no body. On land, they bring out the cadaver dogs, and they're brought in to search the surrounding woods, the idea being that perhaps he made it out of the water, and just as the sonar and the drones had failed, so did the cadaver dogs. Once again, no body. After 50 days of searching, there's no sign of this Ryan Borgwardt. He'd gone missing in August. By October, it was time to try something else. The local sheriff told his team, we're going to mix it up, guys. And it was time they pursue different avenues of inquiry, right? So they started to check into Ryan Borgwardt's personal background, his friends, his associates, his online presence. Yeah. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
That's when they found their first clue. You see, the Canadians had a clue that helped the Americans with their search. What was this clue? Great question, Elizabeth.
That's so good. Good job.
The Canadian authorities, the customs officials from Border Patrol, had run his name just days after he disappeared.
Oh, really?
Yes. That led the local sheriff to reach out to U.S. Customs and Border Protection and go, do you guys have anything on this guy? But not just them. He also contacted the FBI, Homeland Security, and the Wisconsin Department of Justice.
Yeah.
The sheriff learned from the feds that the missing man had recently reported that his passport was lost, and he filed for a new one. That was in May, 3 months before he went missing. Uh-huh. That was curious. Seemed a little suspicious.
Well, it happens.
And then when the sheriff contacted the missing man's family, his wife Emily was easily able to locate the so-called lost passport.
Oh.
That seemed a little more sus.
Yeah.
So now they had a digital forensic analyst from the Wisconsin Department of Justice search Ryan Borgwardt's laptop. Turns out the hard drive had been recently replaced. But not only that, his browser search history had been wiped clean the same day he went missing.
No, God.
But not only that, Elizabeth, the digital forensic analyst also discovered something else. You see, the missing man had been communicating online with a mystery woman who lived in Uzbekistan.
So
But wait, there's more. The missing cabinet maker had communicated online making inquiries about how one might move money to a foreign bank.
Oh my
and
God.
that's not all.
Oh,
This
no.
married father of 3 had also taken out a life insurance policy to the tune of $375,000 in the eventuality of his untimely demise.
Yeah.
And his family, luckily, were the beneficiaries.
Well, that's good. Not the Uzbeki.
Yeah, so he's like looking out for them in case I'm gone. Here you go. Now, with those clues, they pulled from his online presence, the sheriff, his deputies, they were able to start to piece together this puzzle. This married man didn't look like he had drowned or been eaten by wolverines or married a Bigfoot or whatever.
Yeah.
He'd been spending months building for himself a new life overseas with this mystery woman from Uzbekistan. And he tried hard to obscure his trail. It sure looked like he had gone out on the lake in August and faked his death, Elizabeth, left his family some life insurance, and then he planned to disappear in order to chase after a new life with the mystery woman from Uzbekistan. On November 8th, the local sheriff held a press conference and announced to the world the findings from his investigation. He told the gathered press that he was fairly certain that Ryan Borgwardt was not dead, but instead was very much alive and enjoying his new life somewhere out there in the wide, wide world with the mystery woman from Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth, the sheriff, looked into the news cameras and spoke directly to the missing man.
Oh, I love when
The
they do that.
sheriff said, "Ryan, if you are viewing this, I plead that you contact us or contact your family. We understand that things can happen, but there's a family that wants their daddy back."
You know that he's like in a dingy apartment in Uzbekistan, not watching this. He's totally not watching this.
Well, now that the missing man was no longer considered missing, now he was a wanted man.
Yeah.
And so there you go, a little flipperoo. And after these messages, I'll tell you where Ryan Borgwardt actually was and how dingy that apartment was. But first, some delicious ads.
Oh, yum.
And we're back,
We are
Elizabeth.
so back, baby.
So I got to ask you, have you ever considered faking your own death? Like just cutting ties, running away to start over somewhere else?
I'm not going to
I'm guessing
lie.
no.
I think everyone has.
You have. I am literally surprised, shocked, one might say.
Are you?
I wouldn't think of you as being like me. Yes, we all know I probably thought about it like yesterday, but you don't seem like the type.
No, I mean, I've totally thought it's not so much that I would fake my own death, but I've sort of imagined, like, daydreamed, what would it be like if I had no one in this world that I was like responsible for or to?
Mm-hmm.
So no family or anything, and how like the ability to just walk away and start new and like totally reinvent yourself.
Totally.
Is interesting to me.
Interesting. Well, you did go off to Scotland, so you did kind of taste what reinvention feels like.
Yeah. I mean, although not really. But I mean, you think about just going somewhere new and just completely starting over, so you don't have any ties to anything or anyone knowing anything about you.
Yeah.
And that's got to be interesting. I think for this kind of thing, it just reeks of cowardice.
Yes, Ryan Borgwardt is not our hero. He's an anti-hero at best.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't think he had friends, or at least ones that he was confiding in, that he felt he could, who then would talk. Everyone needs friends who will talk sense into them.
Yes, and sometimes you can bring this idea to, but you can't really tell anyone, hey, I'm planning on faking my death. What do you think?
Yeah, but if you're just like, look, I'm unhappy. Obviously, he's unhappy.
Sure.
Although I will say that I think most people will look back and think, I would not have listened to my friends if they told me back then. Sometimes you got to learn lessons yourself.
And learn them the very hard way sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So now that we know, or at least suspect, Ryan Borgwardt faked his death and apparently ran off to be with this mystery woman in far off, possibly Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Is that actually what happened?
Oh.
Well, have I got answers for you, Elizabeth?
Yes, please.
And big hint when I say this, according to the criminal complaint filed by the Department of Justice for the state of Wisconsin, here's what we know.
Yes.
In early August 2024, Ryan Borgwardt checked the weather and decided the time had come. He would put his plan into action on either Sunday or Monday. And the reason that he checked the weather is because he planned to use an e-bike for his getaway, and he wanted to ensure there was no rain in the forecast.
Let's see, lad, there's some logistics right there.
Some, yes.
The time has come, the walrus said. He got up in there.
And so on August 11th, he woke up and knew that was the day. Then he got dressed and he went to church with his family. I guess while he was there, either he prayed for success, or maybe he prayed for forgiveness for what he was about to do, or maybe he just said the words and kept it moving. I don't know.
Probably it, yeah.
After he returned home from church, he put his plan into motion. He left his family home and he headed over to his cabinet making shop. I got to go check in the shop for a little bit. Some stains are set, and I don't know what he told her. He checked to make sure everything was in order is what he really did, which I assume means he checked to see if the batteries for his e-bike were all charged and ready to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Then he dipped back to his family home. Guess he wanted to take one more look at what all he was about to walk away from.
Right.
I don't know what was in his mind, or maybe he just forgot some things he needed for his fake to death. Who knows? Either way, next he went back to his cabinet making shop. There he loaded up the e-bike he'd bought and kept there on the low, and he popped, that into his trailer when he knew he had security cameras set up in the shop. So he had to be careful he wasn't recording with his e-bike. So he pulled the van and trailer around back and pulled it up close enough to the back of the shop he could just scoot the e-bike out sight unseen.
Yeah.
Then he climbed into his van and drove away from his life for good.
Wow.
Now, one thing I wondered while reading the criminal complaint when I got to this moment is, did he have a soundtrack for his faked out death? Did he have a playlist ready to go for this drive?
Is he like a pregnant woman with a go bag and a playlist?
Yeah, right?
For the birthing plan? His rebirthing plan?
Oh, wow.
Zaron,
that's
do you see
poetic.
what I just did there?
That's philosophical. That's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. Thank you.
Now, personally, for me, since you didn't ask, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I was thinking, what was he listening to? So I kind of imagine this guy. Did he have Limp Bizkit all queued up? Maybe some Slipknot ready to go? Based on his age, he seemed like a new metal guy to me.
Oh,
and the
really?
pictures I saw,
the pictures.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You have
but
the benefit of the pictures.
I thought this guy seems like he's a new metal guy. He's listening to music when he was 17. Anyway.
I think he was listening to Justin Timberlake.
Oh my God, bringing sexy back? He's ready to go. I'm headed to Uzbekistan. What tour? The world tour.
The world tour.
Anyway, he drives over to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a.k.a. home of the overalls.
God bless.
Other than overalls, why did he go over to Oshkosh? Great question, Elizabeth. Way to bring your gay game to this one.
I can't stop.
You're on fuego.
You know what? Can't stop.
Won't stop. Now, it turns out that's where the Walmart was. So,
God bless him.
At the big Walmart, he purchased a life jacket.
Was it a Supercenter?
I don't know the details of that.
Okay.
But the Walmart didn't have any life jackets for sale. That's what he wanted to get. And so he was out of luck on that score. So instead, he just bought himself a hat, a University of Wisconsin Oshkosh hat. He also grabbed himself a new backpack.
They didn't have
life jackets. Surprised me. So I don't think it was a superstore.
I don't think he knew where to look.
No. And so after that, and after not
Go back to the back where the tire center is.
Yeah, maybe ask around.
Turn to the right. And then...
Not with the pool supplies. Over there
further
with the
down,
fishing
with
stuff.
Look for the fishing rods.
Yeah, there we go. So he drives over to his friend's house, hoping like hell that the friend wasn't home. He had every reason to believe the friend wasn't home. And why did he want to go to his friend's house? So he could steal some pellets for a wood stove from his friend's garage. He was fairly certain his friend was gone.
Well, were they out of those at Walmart too?
Apparently.
What's up, buddy?
So while he was there, he's yoinking the wood pellets, and his friend returned home. Uh-oh.
He gets caught in the act.
So now Ryan has to rush out and close up the trailer so his friend doesn't see his e-bike. He managed to do that in time. Then he greeted his buddy, and the two talked for a little while, like, hey, how's work? How's fishing? I don't know what they were talking about. I'm guessing they talked about fishing.
His friend just was like, hey, what's up? And then grabbed his hand and said, how's your heart?
Placed it on his chest.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm good, bro.
So after they did their, how's your heart talk, he climbs back into his van, and he heads over to Green Lake, which is about 50 miles away. Mm-hmm. At this point, it's nighttime, but since it's August, by the time he reaches the lake, it's about almost 10 p.m., which means it's only been dark for a couple hours. So it's not super dark yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
When he pulls off the country road to take the little road to the boat launch, he sees a sheriff's deputy patrol car doing the loop. The deputy would have had to have seen his van, which is automatically suspicious, to us at least.
Right.
But not to the deputy in that area. It's like, oh, maybe he's setting stuff up for fishing early in the morning. He's going to sleep in his van.
That's true.
Now, but I also imagine that he had to give him, Ryan, a moment of pause. Maybe he even reconsidered his plan for a moment, this is a bad omen.
Yeah.
But he did not turn back, Elizabeth. Instead, he knew that the deputy was on patrol, and that meant he wouldn't be back around for a long time while he did his patrol of the lake.
Yeah.
Big lake. Takes him a long time to go around. So Ryan drives over to a park that's right there on the banks of the lake. That's where he parked his van and trailer. Next, he texts his wife telling her everything I told you about, where are you? I'm at the lake. And she's like, oh, I wish I would have known. Then she texts back. So far, they had their exchange. He tells her he loves her. Then, when the text exchange is done, done, he pulls out his kayak and his fishing gear. Then he wheels out his e-bike and he walks out a little ways away and he stashes it in the woods along with a bike helmet and a backpack. Then he hikes back.
And a Peter Cetera CD.
Of course, you got to have the Peter Cetera. Then he hikes back to his kayak and to his fishing gear. He loads up the kayak with his fishing pole, a net, his tackle box, also his keys, and then he loads up a duffel bag with an inflatable raft stuffed inside the duffel bag. Then he climbed onto his kayak, paddled out into the darkened waters of this lonely-ass lake. He knows he needs to make his fake death believable to law enforcement that will eventually investigate. So he paddles all the way to the deepest section of the lake. Once he gets there, he tosses his phone overboard. Bloop. Then he pulled out the inflatable raft and starts inflating it. And then once that's all pumped up with air, he slid that into the water. And then he climbed into the inflatable raft. This is all working perfectly. Next, he flipped over the kayak with the life vest still attached to sell the deal. And then he watched his fishing pole, his net, and his tackle box, and with his wallet and driver's license inside, go sinking down to the bottom of the lake.
He must have put those in a shallower spot so that they could be seen. Because if he dumps it all in the 200-foot, no one's going to find that stuff.
I don't know if it's like crystal clear, like Lake Tahoe, where you can actually look down that far.
You can't see down 200 feet.
Pretty close. I don't know. Close.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he carefully paddles the inflatable raft back.
Logistics, Zaron.
I'm telling you, you're already about it.
I know, I am.
Now, he at this point, he carefully paddles the inflatable raft back to shore. And I say carefully because he has no life vest now.
Oh, that's right.
But since Walmart didn't have any for sale, and because he didn't want to actually die on the lake, he's like very carefully paddling his mistake-prone person back to the shore. Because wouldn't that be ironic? Try to fake your death and you actually drown?
Wait, so he had the raft. I'm sorry, did you say it was like self-inflating?
Yeah, well, like with a pump, but inflatable raft.
So he sat in the canoe and pumped
That's my
it
guess, like with a bike pump. I don't know.
It takes a long time.
Yeah, not that long. I've inflated things like, sleeping pads, rafts. It doesn't take forever.
All right.
Anyway,
I'll allow it.
He makes it safely back to shore. Once there, he climbs out of the kayak and he drops himself into the water at the shoreline. And he gets into like hip-deep water and stuff that's all covered in slime, mud, and like muck.
I thought this was a crystal clear lake. Zaron.
Not by the shore.
I know, I'm just messing.
So obscured, and also this area is obscured by cattails. So when he pulls himself out of the water.
So he's in the reedy.
Exactly, right? So those fuzzy plants that grow along the shores of lakes, for those who don't know, cattails.
Or just a bunch of cats.
Just poking out of the water, just drinking, lap, lap, lap. So obviously this plan was to obscure any footprints he may drag out. But unfortunately, once he climbed through the cattails and out of the water and he hiked back to where he stashed his e-bike, he looked back and he noticed he was leaving muddy footprints.
Yeah.
And the muddy footprints crossed a country road. And he's like, that's a problem.
Kidding.
So the trail from the lake right back to his van and then over to where he'd hidden the e-bike is now pretty much marked with. So that's no good. So he takes his shoes off and his pants off and he washes them off in some water. And then it's like, imagine like a gully or like a ditch that runs along the road and has water in it. So he's doing that. Then he uses some of that water to rinse off his muddy footprints, but this is taking too much time. There's way too much mud. So he just rinses the ones that are on the country road.
Okay.
So then he decides, to hell with it, I'm out of here. He climbs on top of the seat of his e-bike, and you'll never believe this, Elizabeth, this master of planning and logistics, he forgot to buy a spare life jacket. This guy, he had never turned on his e-bike, not once before, so he pedals off into the dark, and he's trying to figure out how to turn it on.
You're kidding.
Yes.
He didn't give it any test run.
Not a single one.
All right.
He eventually figures out how to turn on his e-bike somewhere down the country road. Now he's on his way. Steady rolling.
It's flat and he's in like one of those crazy gears. He's pedaling, not going.
Well, those bikes are heavy. I've done this where like you suddenly accidentally turn off the power.
You have one, right?
I have an e-bike and they're really heavy. So like all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, this thing is.
So he's just struggling.
Exactly. Now, eventually he turns it on, as he said. Now he's riding along the side of a country road. But this is like, he gets to a main road, imagine like a country highway that runs through the woods. So now he's praying like hell that sheriff's deputy doesn't come back around on patrol too soon and spots him riding away on the e-bike.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Borgwardt gets lucky. He's able to make it to the back roads, the ones that are like not this main highway.
Yeah.
And now, at this point, he's able to like smooth sailing. He rides his e-bike until he needs to change batteries.
Okay.
He brought a spare.
That's
this one,
how much would be a battery's worth of distance?
Depends on conditions, but easily 50 miles.
50 miles, okay.
Depending on what gear, how much power. If he's doing they have different power ratings, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's doing it in 3. He's going to get far more than if he's riding at 5.
Right.
So I'm guessing maybe 40, 50 miles.
Okay.
So he changes, and then because Master of Logistics did bring the spare, all right. At least he thought of that.
Yeah.
He swaps out the batteries. He stops a second time to change out his wet shoes and pants, because he was freezing in the cold night air at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say, brother, I've been there. I mean, I think I told you this. Last time I rode over to San Francisco from Oakland on my e-bike, It was super hot in Oakland, so I just took off, and I didn't make sure I had a jacket in my backpack.
Yeah.
I get over to the Bay Area, and you know how the microclimates are.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's super foggy, and then it gets really cold. It was so cold, I rode to Haight-Ashbury, and I went to the Goodwill there, and I tried to, buy clothing, but they didn't have any, men's jackets, because, I think all the homeless guys have bought up all the jackets because it's so cold there.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the women's section, and I bought this really stupid puffy coat. Yeah, it had, skulls on it, and then I bought this fleece pullover, and that's the only things I could find that were warm. I spent, $30 to be warm, to ride the rest of the way across San Francisco, and I honestly, I did not care how I looked, as long as I was warm.
Should have bought one of those tourist Alcatraz sweatshirts.
I didn't know. I couldn't think of where to go. I was like, where am I going to go? And I needed more than a sweatshirt. So I was like, the Goodwill on Haight. So I went there. And then when I went through Golden Gate Park, all these teens were pointing and laughing. I was like, I must look like I'm just a menace.
Wait, it was a lady's jacket with skulls on it?
Yeah, these crazy, and silver and writing and sword through as a T. It was, I don't even know what it was.
What in the world? Why aren't you wearing it right now?
I should be, right? Anyway, back to Ryan.
Wait, I got to see this jacket someday. This is amazing.
I'll show it to you someday. So back to Ryan and his bike ride through the Wisconsin woods at night. He continues riding through the dark and in the cold for 70 miles until he reaches Madison, Wisconsin. It was 5 a.m. when he pulls into Madison. That meant it would be light out soon, but also it meant that his wife would be getting up around this time.
Right.
And she discovered he never came home that night.
Yeah.
He also knew he'd passed the point of no return. There was no turning back now, Elizabeth. He was dead, or at least fake dead.
Sure.
So when he arrived in Madison, he rode to a park, and that's where he ditches his e-bike. I assumed he assumed that some homeless guy or some teenagers would find it and then steal it, and that would take care of that clue.
Right.
So at that same spot, he found a dumpster, and he ditched the duffel bag with the inflatable raft and all of his wet clothes. Now he's on foot, and he walked over to a Greyhound bus station, and he bought a ticket to Detroit by way of Milwaukee and Chicago.
Oh.
At this point, it's around 9:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
The bus ride was uneventful. Carried him all the way to Detroit, no problems. There, he gets a second bus that would take him over the Canadian border to Toronto. The bus was headed to the Toronto airport. That was all fine and good. He made it safely over the Canadian border on board the bus. However, when he got out at the Toronto airport, he got off the bus, and he then had to go through customs. That's where they had customs arranged for the bus.
Yeah.
That's where he's up against his first real challenge. But rather than me tell you about that, Elizabeth, I'd like you to close your eyes, and I'd like you to picture it. It's another day at the office for you. In this case, the office is the customs line at the Canadian border, and you are a Canadian customs official working at the Toronto airport, eh? The lines have been slow and steady most of the morning. Now you're eyeing the relief that comes with the end of the workday. Against the din of people waiting for their turn in line, and just after you let a newly married couple through, headed off for their honeymoon that they told you all about, the next traveler in line steps up to your kiosk. He's a middle-aged man, an American. He gives you an overly friendly smile, which seems a bit suspicious. Who smiles like that at a customs official? Only someone who's trying to use charm to cover something that deserves inspection or at least a second look is what you're thinking. The man reaches into his jacket pocket, and his hand comes back out with his passport booklet. He hands it over. You leaf through the passport booklet. It's crisp. You take your time. You note there are absolutely no stamps. He's never used this passport before. Since he's an American, you ask the man for his driver's license. The smile disappears. The man says, he doesn't have his driver's license. You ask why that is. Does he not drive? He says he left his license in his tackle box, but he does have his passport. You're holding it. Isn't that good enough, he asks? You don't respond. Instead, your hand goes up, and two men from the Canadian Border Patrol walk over. They ask the man to follow them, step to the side. His eyes now grow concerned. You've seen that look before, but rarely on the face of someone who's innocent. Just past your kiosk, the two Canadian Border Patrol agents ask the man a few questions. You stand there watching, waiting for it all to be sorted out. The Canadian Border Patrol agents ask the now nervous American to hand over his cell phone. You hear him say he doesn't have a working phone on him. You see, his phone died somewhere around Madison. That's where he's coming from in Wisconsin. He sent a message to the woman waiting for him at the end of his travels, and then his phone died. You see, the Canadian Border Patrol agents, they're just as suspicious as you are. They ask him to turn on the phone and hand it over. He nervously stammers that the phone, it'll probably turn on, but it won't function, not properly. The agents tell him to turn on the phone and hand it over. The American reaches into his pocket, fishes out the phone, he turns it on, it chimes to life, and he hands it over. As one agent checks the phone, the other agent asks why he's coming over the border. What business does he have in Canada? You eye him, waiting for his answer, curious. Again, he stammers and says he's merely just traveling through. He has a flight to catch. The agent asks to see his flight itinerary. He says he doesn't have his flight itinerary on him because, you see, he hadn't purchased his tickets yet. One of the agents laughs like it's a joke, but it's not a joke. The other agent exhales his frustrations with this American traveler, or would-be traveler. You absent-mindedly tap your pencil against the tabletop of your kiosk as you wait to see what the agents will do next. The American says he's not planning on staying in Canada long. He's flying to Europe, to Paris. Yeah, that's it, Paris. Now it's your turn to laugh. The man waits for the agent's response, and you wait too. Finally, one of the Canadian Border Patrol agents speaks up and he says, "Well, sir, enjoy Paris, eh?" And with that, they let him go. He nods, thanks the two agents. He turns and nods to you. You nod back. The man turns back again, takes his phone from the agent, and then walks off to join the other travelers headed for their gates and flights to somewhere else. And just like that, he's gone.
Wow.
And that, Elizabeth, is how Ryan Borgwardt slipped through customs at the Canadian border. The now fake dead married father of three was on his merry way to wherever he planned to go live out the rest of his life. So where does he go? Great question, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
After these messages, I will tell you where he went. And I'm betting it'll surprise you.
I hope it does.
Elizabeth.
Zaron.
You ready for some answers?
That's all I ever want.
I know. That's why I'm here to give you exactly what you want.
Thank you.
And they are surprising.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. So once Ryan Borgwardt was able to set foot inside the Toronto airport, technically, legally, he sauntered over to the Air Canada ticket counter and he attempted to buy a ticket overseas. For his funds, he offered a bunch of Air Canada gift cards.
Wait,
Yes.
what?
And then when he attempted to use them to buy a ticket, he was told, "Sir, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
We can't take Air Canada gift cards for a ticket." Guess he hadn't researched that part of his plan.
What are you supposed to use them for? Like
buying stuff on the
plane?
plane, yeah.
Air Canada merch?
Merch in the store, I don't know.
Long Johns?
He doesn't give up. So, he can't because he's fake dead now. He's got to just keep moving. So he's past the point of no return. So what does he do? He managed to get a Western Union card and he was able to use that to buy a ticket. But instead of on Air Canada, he went up to Air France. Their ticket counter, they're like, "Oh, we
do not care."
And he's like, "One ticket to Paris, please." And that's how he bought a ticket on Air France. Now, he buys his one-way ticket to Paris. No looking back now. Meanwhile, as he's waited for his...
With no luggage, by the way.
A backpack. He's got the backpack. Yeah.
Basically.
He's like, "Oh, I'm just going over for the weekend."
Oh, yeah.
One-way ticket. I'm not a terrorist. So, meanwhile, as he waits for his flight, he buys some food and contemplates, well, what will come next for old Ryan?
Yeah.
And you know how you get bored at the airport waiting for a flight, especially if you show up hella early the way you might? Well,
yes.
He decided to crack open this laptop that he had with him in his backpack, and he checked the news, mainly to see if there was any news about his disappearance.
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, Elizabeth, there was a news story about a missing kayaker who disappeared on Green Lake. That was his confirmation. His plan had worked so far. The authorities believed the kayaker had flipped over and quite possibly had drowned.
Yeah.
He was free of his old life and believed to be likely dead. So he waited for his flight to Paris, dreaming of his new life.
Oh, God.
Yes. Now, at this point, he's checked the news, he's seen that he's officially missing, and all that's left for him to do is to escape North America. When his flight number gets called, Ryan casually hands over his ticket, walks onto the jetway to his flight. Soon, the plane taxied down the runway, takes off into the skies. He's made it, Elizabeth. But what must he have been thinking at this point? It's not often you get to be dead and still be alive at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, his plane eventually landed in Paris without incident. When he walks off the plane, there are no authorities waiting for him, no arrest warrant in hand. Instead, he just calmly buys a ticket to a nation in deep Eastern Europe where the continent meets Asia, specifically the nation of Georgia.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
The plane touched down in Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia. And in this wholly new and unfamiliar land, Ryan Borgwardt steps off the plane. He made it through customs, said without incident, like super easy, like, welcome to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then he walked through the airport where he found a quiet place to sit. Then he sent a little email. He waited an hour. Then he stepped out of the airport to meet the mystery woman he'd emailed, the one he'd come to meet. The mystery woman drove to the airport. And I don't know about you, but I like to imagine she pulled up to the curb in some like Soviet-era sedan.
Oh, totally. That's just like if it bumps up against everything falls apart.
I just like a little short squat thing, too.
Oh, yeah,
like,
a little tiny thing.
But I doubt
and it's
it was
actually not a woman. It's like a big dude named Bertrand. And he's like, yeah.
He's like, oh, it is me. Get in.
It is me, Bertrand.
No, but I doubt it was as cool as all that. I'm sure it was actually some random like Turkish car or maybe a Japanese car. I don't know.
Or
whatever.
no, it's like a Ford, but they have weird names in other countries. So it was like a Ford Burst.
Anyway, he tosses what little luggage he had, probably just his backpack since he didn't buy any luggage, into the back seat, and they pull away from the airport. Where do they go to start his new life? Great question, Elizabeth.
Good.
You're so going to love this answer.
Good.
They went to a hotel. And by then, it was Wednesday evening, so I imagine they went to bed. And there they stayed for a few days. Not in bed, I mean in the hotel room.
Yeah.
So who is this mystery woman?
Angela Lansbury.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Not Angela Lansbury.
No, it's
she
not.
would have solved this crime by now.
Oh.
Well, as I said earlier, she was from Uzbekistan. Ryan had met her online, some unnamed dating website. I don't know what it was, but I do know this was back in December of 2023 that they first met. Within a few months, by February of 2024, they were regularly in contact. And by April, Ryan was researching how to fake his death.
Oh.
Yeah, he'd read about how others had done it. He investigated how they did it. The problem with that is it's rarely is it because they got away with it.
That's what I'm going to say. When you find out, otherwise it's just they're dead.
It's just stories. Exactly. They're disappeared.
It's a dead person.
So mostly it must have been stories of all the folks who got caught. So he's learning like, okay, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. He's not learning what to do. He's only learning what not to do. So at this point later, as he would put it, everything hinged on me dying in the lake. The whole idea was to sell the death. Now, he'd done it, though. He was fake dead, and he's with his mystery Uzbek woman, whose name was Katya. So what comes...
Wait, Katya the drag queen?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, my God, that'd make my dad love her.
I know you do. So now Ryan and Katya, they are together. What comes next for this crazy couple?
I don't know.
For one, he didn't have much money with him. He had about $5,500 in cash. That was about it. That's all the money he brought to start their new life together. I think she was kind of bummed when she found out that he only had $5,500. Really?
That's not going to get you very far.
No, that will take care of maybe rent. So every few days, he kept checking the news online about his disappearance. He checked in on the hunt for his missing body. He mostly just read the headlines. He didn't have time to read the whole story.
Oh, he's got a busy on-the-go lifestyle.
Of course, he's got to get back to Katya.
He's got to be sitting in the hotel room with Katya.
They got to take windy walks and talk about what they're going to do. That wasn't the problem for him about him being missing. It was unless they figured out where he was. Really, he was looking to see, have they figured out that I'm in Georgia?
Right.
That would be a problem.
Right.
Because turns out in Georgia, they do have an extradition treaty with America.
Yeah,
so if he gets caught, they will happily send him back.
Sure, he didn't do a lot of investigation on that front.
Now, bad news for him was that he had no idea that Bruce's legacy existed. That there was this team of volunteer divers who'd spend not just days looking for him like the authorities would, but would keep looking for him for weeks and weeks, up till 50 days.
Yeah.
Because it was a cause for them. And he expected the cops, so they'd get bored, they'd move on, other crimes happen. He forgot about these do-good volunteers.
Not Bruce's legacy.
No.
Well, because also it's like this guy... he's a local worker, works with his hands.
Family man.
He's a family who's got 3 kids. How traumatic for these children.
Yeah.
And then his wife, and it's like, so they're like, we got to
find him. We got to give him closure.
For Taylor, Braxton, and Jackson. Find their daddy.
So eventually, he saw that as those do-good divers kept looking for him, the deputies, they kept the case hot, right?
Yeah.
They find his laptop. They discover that he's most likely not dead and that he'd faked his disappearance.
Right.
And one day he saw a news story that included a picture of Katya, the mystery Uzbek woman. That's when he knew he'd made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Somehow on his laptop, he'd left a trail of crumbs that led to Katya.
Well, he probably thought he deleted stuff, but it doesn't get deleted.
No, not for some forensic digital analyst.
Yeah.
So in October, the local sheriff's department learned from their Canadian counterparts that Ryan Borgwardt's name had been run through their database a few days after he disappeared. That told the local deputies that he definitely wasn't dead and likely had faked it all.
Yeah.
So they keep after him. Then they find the other passport. Then they check his laptop that his wife had handed over. That's what it leads to Katya.
Right.
So now her photo is in the news. And he's like,
little does she know.
He's like, hopefully she doesn't check the local news. But not only that, the authorities also stayed on the trail of the missing man. So they tried every phone number and email address in his contacts until they eventually got in contact with a Russian-speaking woman.
No.
Yes, it was most likely, or we don't know for certain that it was Katya, but the deputies suspect it was Katya. Either way, this mystery woman they reached out to, the Russian-speaking woman, she told Ryan that the sheriff's deputies back in Wisconsin had contacted her. They knew that he wasn't really dead, and they wanted to speak with him. And he's like,
oh, man.
Liberty gibbet. Now, November 8th, 2024, Ryan received an email from Chief Deputy Van Kolk. And Elizabeth, that's when, as he put it, his heart hit the floor. 3 days later, Ryan Borgwardt sent a video he'd recorded on his phone to the Green Lake County Sheriff, Mark Podol. Dressed in an orange shirt, looking directly at the camera, no smile present on the man's face. He spoke directly to the law enforcement officers that had been hunting him down. He said flatly, "I'm safe and secure. I hope this works." Then he went on and explained how he had fled the United States because personal matters.
Oh, God.
But he didn't say where he was, but the apartment did look dingy, just in case you want to know. He also didn't mention anything about coming home. It was literally just a proof of life video, like, yep, I'm alive. And it's like he kidnapped himself. Like, I've got the body.
Totally.
One other thing. He did muse about ifs, and that's a big if he returned home to Watertown and to his community. What would everyone think?
Wow.
My man, that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
and that ship has sunk.
Exactly.
People are going to think whatever you fear they will think.
Yeah, that's right.
So the sheriff explains to the press at that November 11th press conference where he talks directly to the camera, and I quote the sheriff, "He thought his plan was going to pan out, but he didn't go the way he had planned. And so now we're trying to give him a different plan to come back."
Oh, he crafted that statement.
Oh my God. This guy, you know he was having fun.
Yeah.
After months of looking for this guy.
He workshopped it. Like, he had these note cards. He's like, how about this? Read it. And they're like, I think you need more repetition of plan. And that,
Good point. Good. Deputy Alex, what's your thoughts?
Scribble, yeah.
So to get him to consider self-extraditing himself back home, the sheriff said he'd try to keep pulling at his heartstrings. So what does that mean exactly to a fake dead man who doesn't have much of a heart apparently to begin with?
Right, I was going to say, what does he care about Katya, I guess?
Yeah. Well,
Katya.
I do love the curiosity about his emotional state. Like, how do I get to his heartstrings?
Yeah.
So the sheriff considered the calendar, and being a good Midwesterner, he told the fake dead former married family man that Christmas is coming, man. And Sheriff Podol said, "What better gift could your kids get than to be there for Christmas?"
Oh, my God. He obviously doesn't care.
No, exactly. Come on, Sheriff.
Yeah.
Should have workshopped that one.
Exactly.
Elizabeth, I don't know about you, but I can think of a few better gifts to give those kids for Christmas than their deadbeat, fake dead dad.
A new daddy.
Like, I don't know, a PlayStation 5 would probably be better.
PS5.
Anyway, what about this guy's biggest fears? What would the community think? Well, Keith Cormican from Bruce's Legacy,
that's what I want to ask.
The team of volunteer divers who'd spent 50 days looking for him, he said it was all disheartening. Yeah. And he added that you meet all kinds in the world, and I guess this guy went to the extremes, faking his disappearance, so it's a first. He definitely cost us a lot of grief, a lot of money, repairs, and equipment. I just hope he comes forward sooner rather than later so the family can move on.
Like, this guy is selfless.
Totally. So much heart.
Think about it, too, is like they're diving down into the deep, and they're looking for a body.
Yes.
So it's not like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to find your missing wristwatch. They're looking for a bloated corpse. So yeah, they're like tense. They're ready. They're steeling themselves every day. They think, they've let the family down because they haven't found
him yet. Yep. And it's also bringing up memories of his brother, that's the grief he's going through, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, the montage going on right now.
Yeah.
With the heart
totally
tugging music.
The actual heartstrings being pulled.
It is pulling my heartstrings right now, imagining that montage in my head.
There, I like that about you.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, eventually this all became too much for Ryan over in Georgia. Or perhaps, in my opinion, things didn't work out with his mystery Uzbek woman,
Oh, he
Katya.
blew through that 5,500.
Yeah, exactly. He did not bring enough. So eventually he got on a plane and flew home to Wisconsin, where he was promptly arrested and booked in jail. That's where he gave a 3-hour interview, and he told the deputies why he'd faked his death and tried and failed to start a new life. He told the deputies he'd done it because he felt like a failure. He had $130,000 in debt at his cabinet making shop. He also had $75,000 in credit card debt at home. Plus, he and his wife had grown apart as the kids got older. They didn't have a good relationship anymore. And also he said his children didn't like him, or as he put it, they didn't want anything to do with me anymore.
Okay, I
He's
wonder
feeling
why.
sorry for himself, right? So as he told the investigators, quote, I think just the inability to feel like you could talk to your wife about some of this stuff and maybe the complete hopelessness that you have in the situation that you're in, and you end up meeting a friend somewhere on the other side of the world who sort of has a somewhat similar story, and you just end up becoming friends, and the friend thing ends up turning into more. But you didn't really plan on that. It wasn't your intention, so a door kind of opens up for you in a way that possibly make things work like that. What a self-deluding jerk.
Yes.
Katya's like, no, come over with more money than this.
Bring more money.
American, please. And not to be, I don't mean stereotypical about it, but imagining if she's trying to ply this guy away from his wife and kids, she may not have the highest morals.
Agreed.
And she's looking at him as a score, and this is also rife with scammers.
Yes.
Elizabeth, when he had stepped through that door and ruined his whole damn life, he'd wanted to apply for citizenship in Georgia, but he couldn't figure out how to do it since he'd been declared dead or was about to be declared dead. I guess he hadn't researched that part of faking his death, how to stay alive legally. At the end of his 3-hour interview with the deputies, Ryan asked if he could hop on the Wi-Fi and contact Katya. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Just to let her know he'd made it home safely.
See, and I'm shocked that Katya was actually a woman. I was like, it's like a 65-year-old creepy guy, who's just going to take advantage and
takes him to
catfish
a warehouse, knocks him out, leaves him there. Now he's homeless in Georgia.
Yes.
So one of the deputies told Ryan that he'd email Katya on his behalf. We can't let you be in contact.
I mean, because you know that Katya was like saying that she was like a bikini model.
Oh, sure, yeah. Wearing like a white fur coat.
But if you reverse searched, it's like from,
she's
a
also
catalog website.
Yeah, she's also Sasha, and she's also... Now, next, he gets sent to court to be arraigned, and since he'd already made plenty of terrible decisions, he told the judge in his case that he planned to represent himself as his own lawyer.
Oh, great idea.
But Elizabeth, the reason for that was quite simple. All he had left to his name was $20. See, this is why I thought Katya sent him home.
Yo, 100%.
So the judge enters a not guilty plea on his behalf, and he was released on bail, but Ryan switched his plea eventually to no contest, and in court, the judge, Mark T. Slate, told Ryan, for the defendant, anyone else who's thinking about faking their death, if you persist in your deception, the longer you obstruct, the longer you are duplicitous instead of coming forward and admitting your mistake, the longer the penalty should be.
Yeah.
So Ryan Borgwardt addressed the court, and he said, I deeply regret the actions that I did that night and all the pain that I caused my family and friends. And the prosecutor asked for, guess how long in jail?
Ooh, I don't know.
45 days.
45 days?
Days, Elizabeth. But the judge was like, no, you were gone for how long? 89 days? You get 89 days in jail.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's it.
Now, as for his wife and the family he'd left behind, in December, his wife, Emily, filed for divorce. In her petition, she said that her marriage was, quote, irretrievably broken.
Yeah.
So at least she got free of her deadbeat husband.
Good for her.
And there you go, the strange and pathetic tale of Ryan Borgwardt, the wannabe ghost of Green Lake. God. So what's our ridiculous takeaway here?
Oh, man. My ridiculous takeaway is do not run from problems. Like I was saying,
yes.
I was taught everything's an opportunity. And particularly when you feel like everything's falling apart, you have this opportunity, this window for change and like positive movement.
Totally.
So he could have been really vulnerable and transparent with his wife about what the issues were, and they could have worked together to figure out how are we going to settle up these debts, restructure, move forward. Or if she still wasn't willing to discuss that with him, but he would have to really suppress the ego and like be open and vulnerable about it. If she's not, well, then now, okay, you realize this isn't your partner, so we'll move forward from that. But this notion
what do
of
you do
like,
for the kids and so forth?
and I get the impression that maybe like he got locked into his life earlier than he anticipated, and so he didn't have like a younger time.
No, think about it. He has teenage kids, right? So he's 45. It means that he had the kids in his like at most his late 20s. So he had
time to
plenty,
be wild. Yeah. Okay, well then there's no excuse that way. But I can't take that cowardice. I can't take that that fear.
The selfishness.
And the selfishness is insane. The number of people he impacted, 89 days in prison
that's all I got.
that?
I couldn't believe but I guess there weren't a lot of crimes ultimately that he...
Wouldn't it be like passport fraud? That's would be like a federal thing, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Because he didn't really do any fraudulent stuff. He just asked for a new passport, then he used it.
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal about that.
Well, he said he lost it.
Yeah, it's mostly about the faking the death part. That's really the crimes he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, since you didn't ask, I'll just tell you. My ridiculous takeaway, Elizabeth,
go ahead, please.
If you don't know how to turn on your e-bike, you have not thought through anything, and therefore you're not ready to tank your whole life.
No, you have not reached criminal mastermind.
No, or even just really thought about what you're doing.
No.
You haven't even gotten to that level of planning.
Gosh.
And then also, obviously, there's the emotional work that would be necessary that I think he probably should have done first before he got to the e-bike.
I'm just glad he knew how to ride a bike.
Yeah, right? So you ready for a talkback to wash us all down? Producer D, can you hit us up with one?
Talkbacks. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hi, Zaron and Elizabeth. My name is Deanna. I recently started listening to your show, and I love it. I just finished the episode about plant crimes, and it reminded me of a plant crime that I'd heard from some coworkers. So there was a kid in their neighborhood that would go around to each people's vegetable gardens and steal all of their vegetables. And not only that, though, he would go afterwards and try and sell the vegetables back to the people at their door. He didn't wear shoes when he was doing all this, so he was colloquially known as the Barefoot Bandit.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's inventive.
It's very inventive. You just so happens that my garden got robbed. I'm so glad you showed up.
Very similar to what you might like. I can tell. You look like somebody who would like these lemon cucumbers. Well, thank you for that. That's a beautiful talkback. And please, if you guys would like to hear your voice and provide us a talkback like that, we'd love to hear it. So go to the iHeart app, download it, leave a talkback, and you might hear your voice here. Or you can email us if you'd like. We'd love to hear your stories. Write to ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your crime suggestions.
Yeah.
So please reach out. You can also find us online at Ridiculous Crime on Instagram and Blue Sky. And we have our account on Ridiculous Crime Pod on YouTube.
Yes.
That's where you can watch the videos and you can go and like and subscribe and do all that stuff. And we have our website, ridiculouscrime.com. That's where you can get some merch and also just check out the beautiful design work that's there.
It's
By the way,
so good.
Elizabeth,
so sleek.
Did you hear?
Yeah.
The website was recently nominated for the Compassion in World Farming's Good Pig Award.
Stop it.
For our leadership in pig welfare.
Oh my gosh, no way.
So, fingers crossed.
Zaron.
I know, right? Big news. Well, that's all we got for you. So thanks for listening, and we will catch you next crime. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the Pride of Milwaukee, Dave Kustin. And starring Annalise Rucker as Judith. Research is by Marissa, the Belle of Madison, Wisconsin, Brown. Our theme song is by our house band, the second biggest ball of twine in Minnesota, a.k.a. Thomas Lee and Travis Dutton. Post wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben, I'd like a one-way ticket to Paris, please, Bolin, and Noel, does this bus go to Manitoba? Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.